I'm the Trollfolio.
Yay!
Whether you're buying, selling, or just curious about the local market, Shannyn Franklin of ReMax Newport Elite would love to offer her support and service.
Shannyn knows Kenosha both as an agent and a neighbor, and she can help you find exactly what you're looking for.
Find her realtor webpage at ReMax.com or give her a call at 262-960-5182 to begin your real estate journey.
Yay!
Looking for that perfect gift?
We'll contact Aaron Hunzinger of AHDidIt for a fabulous one-of-a-kind creation.
Aaron specializes in metal, canvas, leather, and wood to bring amazing works of art to life.
Contact him now by finding him on Facebook at AHDidIt. That's all one word.
Yay!
Where do all the cool cats hang out? At Union Park Tavern, of course.
UPT, as it's called by the hipsters, is located at 4520 8th Avenue, and they serve up great libations and award-winning food.
They're open at 11 a.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. on weekends for a fantastic breakfast.
I forgot to mention they have musical entertainment almost every night of the week and one of the greatest beer gardens in town.
That's Union Park Tavern, 4520 8th Avenue.
Yay!
Today's guest has led an interesting life as a musician and as a community leader. We connect with the First Lady of Kenosha rock and roll, Candy Eisenhauer. Cue that music. Welcome to the Ktown Connects podcast, and I'm one of your hosts, Donnie. And who am I here with today? Who's who?
Hey, Donnie, this is Jason. Hey, Kenosha out there. How y'all doing out there?
Oh, my goodness.
Kenosha Connects Land. Ktown Connects Land.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to see you once again.
Oh, it's a red-hot summer out there in Kenosha, Donnie.
It really is. There's a lot going on.
So much going on.
Too much. Too much going on in this great city of ours.
But what's coming up next week is one of the biggest events around. That's the Taste of Wisconsin.
Yes, that's coming up, and we're going to dive deep on that with our
That's just one of the little things we got to cover. We got a lot to cover here.
A lot of story to tell.
Candy has quite a rich history here in Kenosha. So
it does. But before we get into that, I just want to let everybody know we are recording today direct from the A+ Mobility Recording Studio in beautiful downtown Kenosha.
That's right, Donnie. A+ Mobility is the area's newest mobility and home medical equipment store. Ashley has the knowledge to help you make the right choices for yourself and your loved ones. That's A+ Mobility, 2324 18th Street. Visit their website, aplusmobilitysolutions.com for more.
Yes, go check Ashley out at A+ Mobility.
Candy, what'd you think of that theme song?
I thought I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
That's the Dropping Daisies did that for us.
Oh, did it? That was so awesome.
Yeah,
they're great. Amy and the crew.
Awesome.
Yeah, they just did a show last week at 58 Below.
Yes.
It was an acoustic show again, but
because
Amy's still recovering from shoulder surgery.
Yeah, that's right.
So they did an acoustic version.
And they've played Taste of Wisconsin before.
Yes, they play every year.
Yeah, they're great bands.
They come play
really
every year.
them.
And actually, Amy is now a member of the Kiwanis School of Western Kenosha.
interesting.
Perfect.
Yeah, she's signed up. She wants to help with that gig.
Good.
And
that was a big issue with Kiwanis, that you needed some younger involvement.
Oh, absolutely. And she stepped right up to the plate.
Awesome.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Amy, they're good people over there. Yeah. They're Dropping Daisies.
Thank you for that killer theme song. Did
Yeah.
you know it's still number one on the charts?
Really? What charts are those?
The Donnie Stancato charts.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is Cher, Turn Back Time. What's brewing in the studio today, Jason?
Oh, Donnie, I'm enjoying this wonderful light lager from Public Craft Brewing. It's a delicious beer.
Yes, it's very refreshing. I can tell by the look on your face when you take a sip how great and refreshing that
hot day like this, that light lager goes down good.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's courtesy of Public Craft Brewing Company in downtown Kenosha. They're located at 628 58th Street.
Yeah, and they have beer, spirits, a new food menu coming soon. Lots of art on the wall. A lot of good stuff at Public Craft.
Well, we were just in there in the weekend and talked to them a little bit about what's happening there because of the lakefront takeover going on. Yeah. And looks like we have they're going to bring in some new food items, keeping the beer, might be adding some lakefront beers to their selection. So
I did see a six-pack in there to go cooler when we were there.
Of what, lakefront?
Lakefront, yeah. They had one in there, so I don't know if that was an accident. That's why I didn't grab it. I was like, oh.
Okay.
But to go down and check out Public Craft Brewing, 628 58th Street. All right, Jason, let's get the show on the road. Who are we here with today?
Well, like we said, we're here with Candy Eisenhauer. And if you don't know her, you don't know Kenosha, because she's been around.
She's a legend.
Yeah. She's been around. How you doing today, Candy?
I'm doing okay.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you for asking. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's not every day we get a Kenosha legend in the studio.
Oh, my goodness. I think you've had a lot of Kenosha legends, really. Yeah.
So, Candy, you're born and raised in Kenosha, huh?
Born and raised, yeah.
Yeah. What neighborhood you grew up in?
I grew up on the south side. Well, I was born, I lived until I was 3 years old on the north side.
Okay.
Off of Washington Road and 11th Avenue. And then my parents it was a new center or a new home subdivision, behind Sears. The roads weren't even done yet. They were still dirt. Right? Yeah, they were still dirt, and they built a house or had a house built out there. Bought the house from the company that was building them. Yeah, and I moved out there at 3.
Age 3, okay.
So that's all I really remember. My parents kept the house on 11th Avenue for income property. I remember going over there. It was a very cool house, going over there, but it was right behind the railroad tracks. So, but I grew up on the south side. Yeah.
Cool.
The south sider.
What was Kenosha like growing up when you were a kid?
Kenosha, I was cool, man. I loved this town. I always loved this town.
Yeah.
It's, it treated me good growing up, and it still treats me good. I mean, it's a great town. That's all I can say.
So you're a longtime singer and performer, guitar player, musician. What was your first discovery of your love of music?
Well, I liked playing acoustic. I liked singing. I just was normally second grade. You want to know?
Yeah, that's why we have you here.
Second grade, and I was in the school play, second grade play, and I sang, or a variety show, and I sang "I'm the Troll Folio."
Oh, can you give us a little bit of that?
Was my hit song. I'm the Troll Folio. I'm the Troll Folio. One more. I'm the Troll Folio. One more. I'm the Troll Folio. And I used to go down the block. My next door neighbor made me stop and sing it for her. Second grade. Yeah, that was my hit song.
Wow.
Yeah, you betcha. And I thought I was pretty good.
Were your parents in the music at all? Or?
No, my dad sang off key, had a horrible voice, and my mom, she sang falsetto, but no, she, my dad worked at Dynamatic all his life, and my mom worked at American Motors, so then they could give us the stuff they wanted to give us. So
yeah, very nice.
So their daughter could live at their house until she was 35 years old.
It happens.
Yeah.
So you grew up with a brother?
I have two brothers. I had my older brother passed away.
Okay.
I have one brother now. He was 2 years older than I am. Just a pain in my, but and then I have an older sister 9 years, and then I have a younger sister 5 years younger than I was.
Okay, so you're the
Carol was 9 years older. Yeah, I was the second youngest.
Okay.
Any of them into music?
My brother was in the school play, but that was the extent of it. No, it's just me. It came as quite a surprise to my folks. Where did this come from?
So as far as listening to music, not really performing it, but what was the first record you really fell in love with?
Well, my sister was 18 at the time. I was 11.
Yeah.
And my sister's stuff, I used to, when she wasn't home, I would go down and put on her 45s. And most of it was, who did all the singing back then? Jesus, I can't think of them now. Bobby Darin and those guys. Frankie Avalon, that stuff. Elvis, of course. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Can't miss that guy. And so that was that was the stuff that I would listen to that back then. And I always kind of liked a clear voice. I didn't really care for a scratchy one. Joplin, for me, it was hard to like.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but everybody called me Little
You've
Joplin.
been compared to her because of your raspy voice.
Right, yeah. And
you kind of try to shy away from that?
I shied away from that. I only sang raspy when I was doing Joplin.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we did, Jefferson Airplane, and that was all, Ray Slick was all clear noted.
Yeah. Well, you could have worse comparisons.
Yeah, you know what? It did me good. So, I mean, it helped my career. So I was okay with that.
Okay. So you're a teenager here in Kenosha. What was your first job?
Well, this all basically goes back to Gary Falcone, and I don't know if you know who he is, but he's actually a couple of years younger than I am. And I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, and I was singing, I played my acoustic guitar in the church basement at St. Mary's Church.
Oh.
And he was there, and he came up to me and he said, have you ever thought about singing in a band?
Oh.
And
now it starts.
No, not at all. Well, he was very cool looking. He had long black hair, and he was tall, and he wore boots and tight
Talking about
pants.
Dale Destruction?
But he was younger than you, though?
And he was younger than I was. Yeah, he was at least a year
Real
younger.
trendsetter then.
Yeah, he lives in California now, and he writes jingles.
Wow.
Yeah, and he knows. He was out here, and I wish I could remember the name of the band he brought out here. Well-known band, and he sits in with them and plays guitar. He's a lead guitar player, and one of the best I think that I have ever heard.
Cool.
And yeah, so very talented guy. And he said, come play in my band, in my cousin's band. He was Dennis Ritaka's cousin, and that was my first start of joining it. Was getting in a band.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you get your first guitar?
My guitar came when I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
My brother Dave had an old Epiphone with the big body one, and I was picking it up and I was trying to play it, and my folks figured, you know what, we need to get her a guitar.
Embrace this, yeah. She's...
And so here I am. I talked them into an electric guitar from Grant's department store.
Oh, right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's some off-brand that I have no idea what it was. And then I wanted an amplifier. And no, we're going to get you a little acoustic guitar. And we went to Amel's Guitar Store, which was before your time.
Yeah. Where was that located?
That was, I believe, Uptown.
Okay.
And he, all the musicians hung out there, and I took lessons there in 8th grade.
Oh, cool.
From, I don't even know what the guy's name was. He was a guitar player in a country band here in town, and his part-time job was teaching music over there, and he was a great guitar player. He taught me chords, and he taught me bar chords, and he taught me how to just sit down and play the guitar. Not, and then he went on the road with his band, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Oh, jeez.
And they got to find another guitar teacher, and this guy comes in, and he's kind of, frumpy fellow.
Oh, no.
And he wants me to start in the 13 first book of the 13 book series. It wasn't even Mel Bay. He was a good guitar player compared to this guy, and he never played with a pick. He just picked at it, and I lasted 2 weeks and then I quit.
Wasn't feeling it then.
You're done.
I let the guitar players I played with teach me guitar.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Joe's.
Okay.
I was a parochial school girl. We went to St. Mary's. My mom and dad sent us to St. Mary's for 8 years, and then we went off to St. Joe's for 4 and graduated from there.
Okay.
But I went right on the road after that.
What kind of student were you, though?
I was a C+.
Okay.
I could have been. My parents told me, and people told me that you're smart. You could have been, but I was too busy for school. I didn't have time for
you
that.
Didn't apply yourself.
I was playing music.
Yeah.
You had the music in you.
Yeah, I had the music in me, and I wasn't going to go to college anyway. As far as I was concerned, I was going to be a rock and roll singer.
So that was your kind of your dream in high school. Like, hey, I'm going to make it big. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to do this for a living. Yeah.
Did you work anywhere in high school? Have any part-time
jobs?
jobs?
I worked at Bernanke's drugstore. I was a soda jerk there. It was on the corner. It's gone now. It was on the corner of 75th Street 39th Avenue and Roosevelt Road.
Oh, okay. Which corner there?
It was on just the corner by St. Mary's. It was on the
by where the Starbucks is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cool.
when they tore that down, Bernanke's drugstores were here for a long time in Kenosha.
Yeah, we had a few of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were brothers, and they opened stores. One was downtown, one was up, one was
West side,
off the
I guess.
60th, and then one was down on the west side.
That's right close to your house, too, so you're able to walk over
Exactly, yeah. And I knew the store. I mean, you got to pay for those.
Yeah.
Even though they were only 40 cents then.
Yeah, a lot cheaper then than they are now.
You're making 10
Oh
cents
my
an
God,
hour.
somebody told me $7 a pack now. You
$11 in the change.
$11 a
Yeah.
pack. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
on special.
Oh my God. Oh.
I said I was going to quit when it became $5 a pack. It didn't happen. When they're $20 a pack, I'll quit.
Tell us about your first big Kenosha gig.
We played Tremper prom, but I think the first big gig was actually at Lance Junior High. We played a dance there.
Okay.
I was 16.
Now, when you say we,
Well, but myself at the time, it was myself. Dennis Bertaka was my lead guitar player back then. I played with him for quite a while. Let's see. Oh, Mickey Gullo played drums. Larry Sheeby played bass. I can't remember if that was the State Express band. We were like a little Yesterday's Children when Yesterday's Children had a guy and a girl lead singers.
Okay.
They were around way back when I was in high school.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Sylvia and Rich Cervantes, I think, was the guy that sang lead with
So
them.
they really are yesterday's children.
They, yes, really are. And Richie's played piano back then. His dad put that band together, and they were a show band. They had horns and everything. Well, we were a little Yesterday's Children, only we were called State Express. And Kurt Hanrahan played saxophone, and I don't remember who the other horn player was. But we did a lot of stuff like that. And we played at Lance Junior High, or Lance Middle School now, and played for one of their dances. Now, I was already in high school, so I felt much older than them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Like all these little kids here. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like one of your first gigs you're playing
It was
there.
one of my first gigs,
first
yeah.
gig.
And the kids thought we were wonderful.
Oh, good.
yeah.
What was the nervous system like for you? How nervous were you?
I never had a problem getting on stage.
Oh, really?
Loved it. Loved every minute of it. I started in second grade,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's not true. I actually started in kindergarten.
Oh.
Miss Shannyn was my kindergarten teacher, and I came home from kindergarten one day and I was crying. And my mom said, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong?" And I said, "My teacher put me in the back of the class. She doesn't like me." And so she called Miss Shannyn and she said, No, Candy has such a strong, clear voice that we put her in the back so that it carries. And the rest of the kids
Will hear you
will
and
hear you and pick
tune
it
to
up.
you
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So I sat in the back there in my position where I was supposed to be.
Okay.
So I was always helpful.
I'll teach these kids how to sing.
Yes, I was always helpful.
All right, so you've been in lots of bands throughout the years. I mean, I have a few of them listed here, but they're like Pray Well, Speedy Cookin', Overkill, The Jets, Gems, Sundance, Backtalk, Windcatcher, Send Help.
It was Wind Watcher.
Wind Watcher,
And
yeah.
there was never a
Typo.
group called the Jets.
Oh, okay. I got that wrong then.
Yeah. At least not that I remember.
Darn Kenosha News.
Well, I drank a lot back then.
Okay, so maybe you weren't a band.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in the band for a day or something, right?
Maybe, yeah.
So in like the mid-'70s, you're in your 20s, you're kind of like doing your thing around town here. What were some of your favorite places around town to hang out and play at?
Oh God! Midtown Lounge was a very cool place, but now I don't remember if that was the 70s.
You worked there later in the 80s, right?
Yeah, worked there and played there in the 80s. So the 70s, no, we didn't play there. We played at Midnight Hour.
Okay, over 22nd.
We played Midnight Hour when I was 16. I remember that. The folks had to come.
Oh,
Yeah, and the Cheetah. We actually played at the Cheetah in between dancers.
Where was the Cheetah? Was it?
The Cheetah was up the street from Midnight Hour, going west.
Okay.
I think those buildings are all gone. There was the Western Inn, and there was the Cheetah, and I think it had several different names, but it was the ladies' dance place back then, where the ladies dance with very little clothes. And they came from American Motors, to have lunch.
Oh, okay.
That's all they were doing there was having lunch.
Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
And and so we played in between then, and
cool.
we played Midnight Hour. I remember a lot. We played there a lot. There was Sammy G's Circus we played at. The 70s are hard to remember.
Yeah.
How many shows were you playing a week? Were you pretty much booked?
Well, we were basically only played on the weekends during the week until we went on the road.
Oh, okay.
Then you would play college towns
Anywhere you could, yeah.
Yeah, and then it would be 5 nights a week.
Ooh, that's a lot of music.
Back when we were 18, it was 18 here in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. That made a difference.
Got that younger crowd in.
Exactly. Well, the college kids, they're 18, 19 until they turn 24 or so.
Yeah.
So you can get those younger kids in there when the bars stay open till whatever. I remember when we played in La Crosse, we had a matinee in the afternoon because the college kids came in and had lunch, and then we would play the club that night.
Oh, yeah.
Get
2 shows in one day.
2 shows in one day and got paid the same. I don't get that, but...
Oh, you got paid the same?
It's about, it's about. A place called The Library we played at,
The library.
Yeah, that was downtown, yeah.
So you're in your early 20s and you decide you're going to leave town.
Yeah.
What was the plan with that? Tell us about that.
That was, we wanted to play. And, there was, in town, we didn't have places where you played 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So we got a booking agent, and I think it was Gary Van Zeeland Talents out of Little Chute, Wisconsin, booked a lot of bands. And we joined, we got with them, and they sent us, up to Eagle River and a lot of places. We did a lot of Wisconsin with them, but they also sent us. I remember playing Eagle River one night and having to be in Knoxville, Tennessee for 5 days at one of their places. Yeah, that was quite a trip. That was the next day we had to be there.
So I got you. According to my notes, you were on the road for 4 years?
6 years.
Okay.
6 or 7 years, really.
Okay.
Because I went on the road in about 1923. Yeah, 1973.
Okay.
Because I'd been out of high school a couple of years.
Okay.
You just hit the open road, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
And we got booking agents, and they were such sadistic booking agents, they would close their eyes and throw a dart at the map, and that's where you went the next week. I really believe that some of those agents did that, but
just hopped in a van and you all went? Is that how you guys did it?
Yeah, we did. We had a van, if we were lucky to have a van. Sometimes, I remember John Giordano was our bass player. I played with him several different times in different bands. Great bass player. He had an old station wagon, and we put all the equipment somehow in that station wagon. And, that was when we were first kind of playing, starting out, and we didn't have a lot of room. And we didn't have a lot of equipment, and then we had cars. So we had the station wagon, we had cars, and then we graduated to a van. I bought an old KUSD blue van that they had years ago, that blue smoke, and that's what we went everywhere with that thing. And oh God, let me see. So and that's what we did. We had vans, and then we just traveled around in the cars.
Was Kenosha still your home base though? You just kind of would come and go kind of thing. Okay.
Everybody originally was from Kenosha.
Okay.
Once we got on the road, and as we lost people, we picked up other musicians. Sammy Stretch, Chris Verbick from Kenosha was our keyboard player. This all started with the group called Therica. And there were 5 guys and myself, 5 guys and myself, and we lost Sammy Stretch. He didn't want to be on the road anymore. His girlfriend wanted him back in town, and so he wasn't made for the road. You know, he was kind of a delicate guy. He played keyboards, and so we picked up Dave Kraft, who actually lived in Waukegan, but we got him from a booking agent. So he was no longer with the band that he was, and so we picked him up wherever we were playing. I don't even remember where we broke him in, and so that's actually why I came back home. Eventually, I was the only original member in the band, and so if we did have to break somebody in, we had to come back to my parents' house, and we did that for a while. You know, the band. My mom never met half these people, and they're sleeping on couches in our basement, and they're banging away on musical equipment during the day. You know, one guy, guitar player, we're breaking him in to teach him, and he brings his girlfriend with. And my mom comes out of the hallway, and then there's some girl with her head in our refrigerator. I don't even know who this lady is.
Oh, bless your mother, right?
Oh, my God. My parents were outstanding. They were just outstanding.
So your parents were really behind your dream of being a musician.
100%.
They supported.
They did. Yeah, my parents, from the get-go, my dad was so proud. When I first started taking lessons, you know, at Amels, my dad would bring me to lessons, and I thought, well, he's going to go home and he'll come back and get me. No, I'd come out of lessons. He's in there with all of the musician guys. He was just, yeah, my daughter's in there. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I should hear her sing. She was great. He was great. They
I
love me.
it.
That's great.
So good.
Yeah, good people.
So you lived in New Mexico for a couple of years?
Yeah, I moved in '79. I was that's when I was like the only one left, and I decided to leave the band altogether, and I moved to Santa Fe.
Okay.
With a friend.
Okay.
We lived out on a ranch.
Oh, wow.
And tried to start up a band in Albuquerque.
Okay.
The band was together. We played a couple of gigs, but you know, there's a difference between Midwest rock and roll and Southwest rock and roll. So I missed it, and my relationship had kind of, you know, spun out and was done with, and I moved back home.
Okay,
my folks, they weren't even home when I moved back home.
Like, hey, I'm back.
Yeah. They were on vacation somewhere. They come home, and here I am. Hi.
Who's in our fridge?
Yeah. Is that lady back?
So you come back to Kenosha. When you come back, this is in the early 80s then, what has changed in Kenosha from when you were a kid? Did you see any kind of big differences in Kenosha? I mean, you were back and forth.
I was back and forth, so I didn't really notice a lot of the change. I don't think, you know, Kenosha was bars. They were bars, lots of places, and if they were big enough, they had music and, you know, had entertainment. That's just the way that it was, and I don't remember ever seeing it change. You know, you would go to, such and such bar would close, but if you went to a different bar, all the same people are there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, so there wasn't any change, except that the city kind of moved a little further west, but it inch by inch, like I said, because you said I came back, so I wasn't completely gone for those 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So I did come back, but it did inch. I could tell that it inched. You know, we'd come into town, and generally people come in on Highway 50. Mm-hmm. I did because my parents lived over there.
Yeah, right off of it.
So, we came in on Highway 50, and there more things would go up, and more things. Well, that wasn't there. You know, so. But
I still go down Highway 50 and go, that wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kenosha has for me has always had the greatest people. They've always been kind to me and friendly, and I've always had fast friends here. Yeah. So to me, it hasn't changed. It's just always been home.
You talk about the bar culture. I laugh these days when someone says Kenosha has a lot of bars. Like today.
Oh,
I'm
compared?
Like, well, no, they just say Kenosha has so many bars. I'm like, not today. I mean,
no, yeah. Compared to back then, no way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
I mean, you look at most of these empty lots; they're probably bars.
Yeah, they're probably bars.
Would you say there's a lot more live music back then in Kenosha than nowadays?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that the music now or the entertainment now is more intimate here in town. I think, before we had, I don't know, does George's still have bands?
I don't know. Yeah, good question.
You could always got a different crowd in George's. It wasn't because it was a big bar.
Yeah.
But I think all of the clubs now are much more intimate. They're a little smaller and everybody's a little bit closer. The music is not as loud. I don't think it's as loud as it used to be. I don't know. Are there any real rock bars in town now?
No, they don't have like the residencies that they used to have. They used to have like a band would play like both nights in the weekend. They play Friday night and Saturday night at the same bar, at the same place, and people would come out both nights to see them. And now
that does not happen nowadays.
No, we don't have that at all.
No. Well, I think a lot of things have changed with people going out, and Sam and I drove through Racine Sunday. Or Saturday, we were going to a retirement party, and we rode up, is it Douglas on this side of the street, Highway 11?
Yeah, I believe so.
Drove up Highway 11 through where the shopping center is, a really, really long one, and to see how many empty. Kenosha, to me, seems to redo things. If it's an empty building, well, they'll put something different in it, or they'll redo the front of it, But this was just it was like a ghost town, and it was for blocks and blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't... I don't know. I don't know if people just aren't going out.
Yeah,
That's, and I think that COVID had a lot to do with that.
Well, I think a lot of like the entertainment options at home are more now, and people are more comfortable sitting at home than back, in the younger days. People they had to go out. They had to go out and do something.
Laws are a lot more stronger nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
And also the connection
no
too.
Smoking in bars.
The connection that you have to other people. Now you can connect with I can see all my friends on Facebook and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that before. I had to go. Okay, I'm going to go and see if anybody's down at George's Club Hy-Vee this weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, find out talk to some people. Find out what's the big rumor around town.
Yeah.
Things like that, which social media has kind of killed some of that.
Yeah,
in a part.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So you come back to Kenosha. Is that about the time when you started working at Midtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I was a bartender. I started working I got my bartender's license, and I had moved back to Kenosha, and my brother had a apartment for rent on 25th Avenue off of 52nd Street. And the building is still there. The house is still there. And I moved in there at $180 a month rent.
That's it?
Yep. And the most it went up to was $230.
Wow.
Almost my brother, remember.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And then eventually I bought it from him for, I think it was like $30,000 or something like that. It was a steal. But it was income property. I forgot where I was going with this. What do you ask me?
Midtown Lounge.
Oh, did I start working there? No, I started bartending I actually sold swimming pools for many years.
Oh, wow.
KJS Pool and Spa. It's now Doheny.
Okay.
Out there. I don't know if I can say all these names.
Sure. Of course.
Okay.
This is your connection to Kenosha.
That place
I never
off
worked at
60th
Doheny.
Street?
Pardon me?
That place off of 60th Street?
No, that was... Oh, God, we were just talking about Don and I can't remember his last name. Anyway, no. It was a KJS Pool and Spa. Jim Kinsman owned it. And then Doheny, which is a big, where you get a catalog and you can order pool supplies, and that was Doheny. They bought his business from him, and now it's Doheny. It's still out there.
But probably bought for a pretty penny.
Yeah, he retired.
There we go.
He
That's the way
retired.
to do it.
It's small business. I'm telling you what, folks, it's tough. So, you know what? Go buy from them. Don't buy it online. Get up. Get in your car. Take a little ride.
Buy local.
For sure.
Yeah.
So did you enjoy bartending when you were bartending?
Well, I loved bartending.
Yeah.
I am very social.
You're a bit of a party girl, too, back in the day.
I was. What is that? Was that in the Kenosha News,
Yeah,
too?
of course, yeah. Tequila and cocaine, I saw.
Tequila and cocaine, absolutely, yeah. Well, I started working at KJS Pool and Spa. No, and I actually worked there before I went on the road. I worked at the pool place, and then I went back to the pool place when I got back.
Oh, okay.
And bartended on the weekends. It's why I stopped working at KJS Pool and Spa, because I started bartending on the weekends and I didn't make it to work on Monday.
That's how it works, right?
Party girl, yes,
Yeah.
I was. I partied a lot, and that's absolutely the story. And I will admit it. My weekends were spent drinking to the point where I got drunk, and then I would have Coke and do lines until I sobered up.
And help you drink more.
And help me drink more. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then so I started missing Mondays. And I remember Jim saying, Candy, you are great when you work here. You are great when you are here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did bartending interfere with your performance? Because they're kind of doing the same thing. Were you able to bartend and then had taken time off to perform in the bands and stuff?
No, you know what? I don't think, and it wasn't playing, I don't think, when I got back. I hadn't got the band quite back together yet.
Okay.
But no. It would, if I had a gig, if I was off for the weekend or I had to play for the weekend, then I had a gig, then I didn't have to bartend. Bartend was very, very, I wasn't your regular bartender that you see all the time when you go in the bar. I was.
When they saw you, they're like, yeah, Candy's bartending.
Yeah, let's go. And you know what happened? I got to tell you what happened. I first started bartending at the Gallery, which was owned by Del and Pat Harden. And that was right by my house, right by where I lived on 52nd and 25th. And so I worked like Sunday afternoons there so that I could play the night before. That's where I started working, and but that all became kind of part-time because I still had that full-time gig at KJS.
Yeah.
So, and then I went to Midtown. Yeah, I liked bartending at Midtown. That was my home. Yeah.
If people are wondering what Midtown, it was the bar. It was just east of Aiello's Florist over there on 52nd Street, just off of 22nd, and it burned down probably 15 years ago or so.
Yeah.
It was the barn.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was the barn when it burned down. Yeah. Yeah. Jerry Host owned the Midtown. It was a great place. I mean, when it turned into a rock and roll place.
Yeah. So in 1991, you decided you're done being a party girl. You sobered up.
I heard a lot of people, back then. I would say I'd do something and then I wouldn't show up, or I had relationships and I would end up with somebody else, and so I heard a lot of people.
Poor decisions, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I wanted to buy, believe it or not, I wanted to buy a bar and own my own business. And I asked my mom if she would lend me the money to open the bar, and she told me no. And that's when it hit me that I'd lost her respect.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was, at the time I didn't really care that much about other people's respect, but
comes to your mom,
losing my mom's respect, that made a difference. And I was determined to prove to her. That was the summer of '90, and then I had gone on hurting people, and I hurt a dear friend, my girlfriend, and got caught sleeping with somebody that I shouldn't have, and I quit drinking then on the spot.
Oh, right there on the... Oh,
yeah, I quit drinking. I had already quit the Coke, so I was already wheeling down, but, alcoholism runs in my family.
Oh.
And my dad was a very functional alcoholic. I mean, he was a sweetheart, and I loved him very, very much, but he was a functioning alcoholic, and my grandfather was, and so it runs in the family. But I had to stop, and that's what I did. I just stopped cold turkey, no more.
And you've been good, huh?
I've been clean and sober ever since. I'll tell you what, I'm 70 years old, and so now if somebody, there are so many drinks, so much alcohol that has come out, I have no idea what it tastes like. I mean, and it's cool little bottles, and it's shaped funny, and is that a liqueur, is that a beer, is that I don't even know what an EPA is.
IPA?
IPA.
Yeah.
See, there you go. EPA, that's oil, isn't it? I don't know.
It's an Environment Protection Agency.
Okay. So, so I wonder, and if now I'm being 70 years old, I am not going to go back to drinking, and so if I want to taste something, I'll take a sip. And it's funny, whenever I do sip alcohol just to see what it tastes like, I get this warmth that comes up like like up to my ears, from my neck up to my ears. It's really weird. Everything warms up there. But I don't have any desire. I'm just fine. I think, when I was drinking so much, I did kind of have to have a high going when getting on stage, or living my life, or being sociable. I think when 91, when I quit, I had to learn how to do that, and all by myself without falling back on anything. And I was very social when I was a little kid, so it just kind of came back.
You had to relearn that kind of thing.
I had to relearn it, but it came back very easily.
Nice.
So it's never been to the point where I've ever wanted to start drinking again. It was not. I never wanted to anymore.
Good.
So
good. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. You should.
Thank you.
Be very proud.
I hope my testament here today helps us.
Yeah. And then
it's not easy to do.
You don't have to drink to be social and to have fun. You really don't.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got an addiction. A personality, addictive personality. You don't have to.
Yeah.
So don't. There's no reason to.
No reason
You're
to.
wonderful on your own.
So about 2 years later, after you got sober, you took the stage again for the first time sober.
Where are you
Wind
reading
Watcher?
this? Yes, absolutely. And that's a story. Now, you ever asked me if I ever first time getting on stage where I was nervous. You asked me this way in the very beginning. They got me on stage to sing one song. And I felt like I was looking through the other end of a bottle. You know how it goes in like that? That's what it felt like. It was like all I could see was tunnel vision. Is that what you call it? Where all I could see was straight ahead of me. And that was it, But it felt so good.
Nice.
It just felt so good to be back on stage. And so I was back playing again. They called me shortly after that. They had lost the keyboard player who was their lead singer and said, they had my lead guitar player that I had for many, many years. I was on the road with him.
Oh, Dennis?
No, not Dennis. Bill Switzer was my lead guitar player from the 1970s.
Okay.
1973, I started playing with Bill. And on the road. He was original guitar player in Therica.
Oh, very cool.
He was one of the last people to leave Therica on the road to go home and get married.
Yeah, okay.
And when I came back in 81... I tried to put the band together, but when I came back and he was playing with Wind Watcher, and when I came back to come back and play with him, he said, "Candy, I really would like you to come and sing with us." And I said, "Okay, all right, I'm happy, I'm ready."
And you're ready?
Yeah, and then it went from Wind Watcher to for many years, and then went to Send Help, and then we retired in 2015.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to hear more about Candy and her sober life. Part 2 of her.
Good things are coming.
I got
More
what's
good
left.
things are coming. Oh, you got a lot left, Candy.
We'll be right back after this break.
Yay!
So, Donnie, we're doing something here we've never done before. This is a brand new precedent for Ktown Connects.
This is the first time that we're going to be doing a 2-parter episode.
So, yeah, if you see, this episode's nearing the end, but the story is not over yet because on Tuesday, part 2 of this interview is dropping. So stay tuned for that and enjoy. And thanks for listening to Ktown Connects.
Listen and subscribe, but you already did.